What's up YouTube? Welcome to the channel. My name is Wendy and today we're going to be doing a little chit chat video. I'm in my car because I am about to head into school, have a little bit of time to kill. But yeah, I'm starting a new series on my channel and I think I'm going to call it Finding the Love of My Life, because I have found the love of my life and I wanted to share with you guys the lessons that I've learned in my last relationship and how I applied that to my life to grow as an individual, how I've applied that to my dating practices, and how it's led me to where I am today, and how I've been able to attain this very successful relationship. So yeah, today we are going to be talking about how I learned to stop dating potential. And I want to give credit where credit is due. If you guys haven't heard of him yet, please look up Stefan Labossiere. He has great content. I've read some of his books, I've watched some of his videos, listened to some podcasts, been to one of his events. He gives out great information. Literally, he changed my life, like literally. So I would highly advise you guys to look into his content if you guys are looking for answers in your love life. So yeah, I learned to stop dating potential, and I didn't actually learn this until after I broke up with my ex. We were together for about 3.5 years, and at the end of it all, when we broke up, I felt all of this resentment for him. And I realized after the breakup that I resented him because I was dating his potential. He's a great guy. We ended things off on good terms. We still talk every now and then, just like a hi or whatever. But in the beginning, I dated his potential. He's a good guy. I thought, you know, because he's a good guy, we can just see where this goes and maybe it could turn into something. So that was the problem. I was dating his potential. And when you think about it, saying that someone or something has potential is not a compliment. It is saying that you are not good enough right now. You can be, but you currently do not have what it takes. There's this room for growth, but there's also the chance that those expectations are never going to be met. And I think another reality of dating somebody's potential is not accepting them for what they are and who they are from the get-go. And it sucks to say, because he did ask me, he was like, you know, am I not good enough for you? And I buried my face into my hands and I started crying because that was a hard question. But that's the premise of all failing relationships. Someone was not good enough. But at the same time, I also realized that we are never going to be right for the wrong person. Just because he and I weren't good for each other doesn't mean that we're not going to be good enough for someone else. It's all about perspective, right? What is perfect to someone may not be perfect to another. So whatever it is that I didn't accept about him, somebody else will. So I realized that I was dating his potential. I, in reality, did not accept him for who he was and what he had to offer to the relationship from the beginning. I was waiting for him to meet my expectations and he didn't, so I resented him. And I stayed in the relationship thinking that I was in love, but the reality of that was that I loved him conditionally. I only loved him when he did things that I wanted and did things when that were right to me. And all those other times I was waiting for him to fill my expectations, like that was conditional love. I don't know how else to describe it. So after the breakup, I took some time off to myself to heal and to just, you know, become more self-aware. And once I felt like I was ready, I went back into the dating scene, but I told myself, do not date potential. Listen to your intuition. So I went on about 4 dates, I think, and not a single one of those guys made me feel at peace. I would literally go on one date, and then when they offered a second date, I would turn them down. But they were very mature about it. Well, most of them were. I'll tell you guys a story about the one that wasn't, but most of them were very mature because I was explaining to them the kind of feeling and the type of relationship that I was seeking, and I was telling them that I want the same for you. Like, I don't want you to date me because I think that this relationship isn't going to work. There's this one guy that I dated, and when I got to date this guy, I told myself, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be writing all of these guys off on the first date. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I need to give them like 2 or 3 chances before I can actually make a decision. So this guy, I gave him I was already not feeling it the first date, but he was like, oh, I want to get to know you more, yada, yada, yada. So we went on a second date, and then second date, I told him, like, I vocally said, I don't think this is going to work because your actions don't match your words. I already didn't feel a connection with him, right? Not a deep one anyway, not the one that I was seeking for. But on top of that, I was like, your actions don't match your words. You say you want to get to know me and you want to go on a date, but I feel like you're elsewhere. Like, your spirit is elsewhere. You're just not focused, He's like, no, I'm just really bad at dating. I want to get to know you more. I want us to hang out more, yada, yada, yada. So yet again, I gave him another chance, and eventually I straight up was just like, I think you are genuinely trying to find a life partner, but I'm not it. So I want you to be happy, and I can't keep where you don't belong, and you don't belong with me. So I decided to stay his friend and kind of help him through his dating experience, because I also then found out that he was dating 2 other girls. So I told him, start over. I don't think you're meant to be with me or any of the 2 other girls. Whoever you're supposed to be with is going to be a very clear choice. They're going to bring you a lot of peace and this and that. And I think he misinterpreted that information. He ended up making things official with one of those girls, and I think in a way he settled. Not that she's not great. I'm sure she's great in her own way, but he kind of just went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or like, oh, this person is the most logical for me. But just because someone is logical for you doesn't mean that they're good for you or you're good for them, right? And then everything after that ended up being a catastrophe. This was one of the most toxic experiences in my entire life, where he had the 2 of us pinned against each other. She was under the impression that I was hanging out around him and trying to convince him to break up with her because I wanted him to myself. When in reality, I just wanted him to date other people because he settled. And I was under the impression that we could never publicize us hanging out because she was an insecure girlfriend who didn't want him hanging out with other female friends. At one point, she ended up messaging me in my DMs and showed me all these screenshots of him talking mad-ish about me. And my mind was blown, so I went ahead and I showed her all the screenshots of him continuing to hit on me after they made things official, me turning him down. Like, I sent all the receipts, but in the beginning she was very aggressive towards me, and I told her, I was like, you know what, you should watch what you say and how you go about things on social media, because you're coming off as very insecure right now. And she's like, please, you got nothing on me, I'm not insecure, of course, all that stuff. But the fact that your boyfriend told you all these negative things about me and told you not to worry about me, yet you still ended up in my DMs getting very aggressive towards me, is a huge indicator that you are insecure. Maybe you're not insecure as a person, but you're definitely insecure in the relationship. And so I sent her all the receipts, and she broke up with him, I guess, and then took him back. That relationship is gonna fail. It might not look like it to them or to other people, but relationships fail all the time after 3, 5, even 10 years, even after people get married, because they fail to recognize the red flags, or they just tolerate a lot of things. And I think a lot of times people know in their spirit, in their soul, their intuition, that that relationship was not meant to work. So yeah, guys, after that experience, I just decided to stop dating. I put all of my energy into growing and just doing me. And then I got lucky enough to meet my current boyfriend, who I believe is my soulmate. So learning to not date potential was huge for me. Again, dating potential means that you have high expectations of the other person and of the relationship. There's always the chance that those expectations will never be met. Dating someone's potential means you couldn't accept them from the get-go. It would also mean that during your relationship, you'd be loving them with conditions. It is so pertinent for you to trust your intuition. Trust your gut feeling. If something doesn't sit right with you, then leave. You know, don't force yourself to stay in a situation you know isn't good for you. And going back to that guy and his girlfriend, you know, their relationship, I expect it to fail because she doesn't trust him. Also, don't date someone you don't trust. There is no way, it's very rare anyway, for someone to gain trust if it was never there to begin with. Like, how do you prove to someone that you are a loyal partner after you've done them wrong? They could believe it for a short period of time, but they're gonna always anticipate for something to go wrong. And when it does, it's gonna be like, oh, I should have known better. I knew this was gonna happen. My intuition told me to. I was so stupid for you know, trusting him. So trust your intuition. Do not date potential. Those are two things that went hand in hand for me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I made sense. If you guys liked it, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do plan on rolling out more videos like this one, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on a video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.